Harvest Moon 64 was my favorite childhood farming game. There was just nothing quite like growing crops to woo your favorite fictitious lady in the valley and partaking in festivals. I just was always bummed that the days went by so fast and you could never cook any of the recipes you learned. Naturally, when I heard about Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life in Nintendo Power magazine, I couldn't wait for 2003 on the GameCube. Not only were the days longer, but you could cook recipes, and everything else was basically the same. Now, 20 years later, the good Harvest Moon games go under the moniker Story of Seasons, and we have a remaster of the GameCube classic. But, is it worth it? Let me start by saying there aren't many farming games that come close to Stardew Valley these days. However, Stardew Valley's pixel art may not be enough for everyone who remembers the classic Harvest Moon charm. That's where Story of Seasons comes in. It has a cartoony art style, but it is fully 3D and looks beautiful. This was part of the charm of the original Wonderful Life on GameCube, as even Harvest Moon 64 was isometric. So, if you want a good-looking game where you inherit a farm and go after the woman or man of your dreams and proceed to raise a child with them, then A Wonderful Life has it all. It completely eradicates the GameCube original with quality of life improvements too, like faster tool selection, faster animations, and faster load times. Where Harvest Moon 64's days were obscenely fast, A Wonderful Life has a day length of roughly about 20 real-time minutes. There are 10 calendar days per season, and one whole season takes about 3 hours from start to finish. No matter how you spin it, Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life is long. But it goes beyond that. At the end of each year, a drastic change happens in your family life. The first year is all about being single and chasing a partner. But marriage is forced at the start of year 2. And a toddler is born and a kitchen added to the farmhouse. The subsequent years see the toddler growing up all the way to adulthood, which plants a little seed of wonder in you to see it all to the end. But man, oh man, is that a long ways away from the start of a new game. So I think by now we understand the game is long. But is it fun? Is there enough to do for all those hours of gameplay? Well, kinda. Story of Seasons is faithful to the GameCube original in that everything is very slow paced. If you go into this like it's Harvest Moon 64 and rush to buy seeds, speed water them, rapid milk and brush your cows, pick up your chickens just long enough to grab their eggs, and run to gift your favorite villagers, you will be done with your chores by noon and extremely bored. During your boredom, you have two choices. You can either fish, which isn't that fun, or you can take a child's beach shovel to the dig site and press the same button over and over again, very slowly, for a chance at junk that sells for gold. I think it goes without saying that this option is even more boring than the fishing. But don't worry. By 4 p.m. it is time to rush back to the farm and repeat the morning's chores. Yes, that's right. A Wonderful Life loves to be slow-paced, and it forces that on you by making you water your crops and care for your animals twice per day instead of just once. So what would be a 10-minute speed run is instead a 20-minute waiting game. That's not to say the game is bad. It is packed with charm, and the events and festivals are just as enjoyable to look forward to as the change of seasons and harvesting of crops. And there are many events, especially for the characters that you can marry. However, in the day-to-day running around, you will find that the villagers say the same thing all the time, no matter how much they like you. This is a real letdown, as they quickly become just another chore themselves, especially after you've seen all the unique events and know they will never do anything else interesting. Very soon, the only slightly unique thing to add to the boring hours in between morning and evening chores is a bulletin board with villager requests on it. Here, you can deliver specific goods to people for specific prizes that are usually a few stages ahead of your current abilities and progress, so they're worth doing. Back during the GameCube days, the game was so slow that I never made it past year 2. In my time with this Story of Seasons remaster, I found that it is more enjoyable to play overall, but the pacing is still roughly the same. My file is currently at the start of year 3, and I feel like I need a break for a while before I dive back into farm work. It just seems that the first year is a very slow start, but it's tolerable since you don't know what to expect and are still getting your feet wet. You have new crops to look forward to, new upgrades from a merchant named Van, plus all the new villager events and festivals. Then, year 2 introduces a toddler who is just a cute piece of dressing overtop the same 4 seasons. There are some new events related to the child which are neat to see, but as we've stated, it takes a lot of patience during all the in-between to get there. Not enough else changes about the 40 days in the year to keep you invested. There are no new festivals, and the existing festivals are kind of boring compared to the interactive ones from Harvest Moon 64. Somehow, though, you have to push it through 6 total years to see the full advancement of your child and the other characters in the game. At 20 minutes a day, 3 hours a season, that means you will have to play 72 hours to see it all to the end. As your farm grows, it takes longer to pick every single crop individually and brush every cow, and it just starts to not be fun. It's not a game you can sit and grind out. It is meant to be taken slow and chipped away at. In summary, I think Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life is a great remaster of the 2003 original with enough quality of life changes to make it touchable among today's games. However, it is so faithful to the original that it lacks the necessary ingredients to keep the game loop fun over the course of its long 72 hours. The story is nicely done and cute to see unfold, but it just takes forever to get there, and there's not enough new events to fill the dead space in the long seasons. In a world with S-rank farming simulators, A Wonderful Life is an average B-rank tomato. Tasty and full of flavor, but it could be better. What do you think, cow? Be sure to subscribe to catch my Let's Play of this game in October 2024, or become a channel member now to watch it early access today. Happy farming, and see you later!